Alright, welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, Millennium Dawn modded playthrough of Colombia. It's kind of an interesting time. Preparatory phase for attacking Brazil. That's where we're at. So, once we get integrations with Trinidad and Tobago and Panama, actually probably just Trinidad and Tobago, then we'll work on getting a lot of this infrastructure kind of laid out. Since we do have 4 stacks now of factories we can work with. We're not actually behind, and I'm going to go ahead and bump that up since we can. I should get more money. Let's go ahead and buy an enrichment facility. Yeah, so our build speed and our money shall increase. We are not having those third world country blackouts anymore. Which is probably nice for the people, I don't know. It's speculative. Alright. Yeah, and our tax cost is still 28%. That is pretty high. Oil. Oil is driving our income, that's for sure. I can go ahead and lay out a couple investments. I'm going to go ahead and do that. What's our population now? Only 80 million, basically. 79.6. I would have thought we would have a bigger populace. Let's see. Yep, they are fighting back for their autonomy, so it's purely based on building. That will be rather monotonous for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and build a naval base. Or a series of naval bases here. Yeah, so kick those up. Hold up. Move all this into the right order. Yep, something like that. Okay. How's our... Yeah, so we do have naval dominance. Let's check our air forces. I'm gonna go ahead and move all these planes. I am gonna top the air supply off, though. Alright, let's move... There we go. Yeah, so we do have everything laid out appropriately. Check air bases. We have a lot of airbase upgrades we need to push out. I'm gonna go ahead and get those built. Or queued up in the build queue, not really built. Network infrastructure. A little surprising how low that is. Roads are at least queued up. Oil reserves are fine. Let's go ahead and get that. Excavation, we can get early research there. Yeah, so bigger strategic fuel reserves is definitely going to be helpful later on. Important for running a navy and an army. And then naval bases, naval yards, naval supply, and supply hubs on land are going to be a big problem for us. Look at our income. That's pretty nice. Surprising for sure. See France here, they'll take another investment. Okay. Not bad, not bad. I think we're... Yeah, the air wing situation is going to be our biggest weakness going forward. Alright. So we're going to use our cartel leader here to act like a cartel leader in the 2010s. And we're going to suspend elections. So we're not going to lose the election. Funny how that works. With our only 20% popularity. I guess we lost an agent. Somehow. Yeah. Panama's not a problem. I wonder what the flag changes to. That's kind of interesting. Alright, so we're going with that non-aligned cartel leader. Augustine Bolivian. He's going to be our leader for the next decade. I guess if I move everyone here... That's a lot of unit attrition and supply issues. They're just taking their sweet time to walk out of this forest. Yeah, I guess we're about to find out how long it actually takes to make a factory. Not a ton of losses anymore in build speed. With that productivity and employment combined effects, almost a 40% bonus now. And GDP per capita is actually doing pretty nice. Like, you've got some pretty good bonuses. 22nd of October of the same year. So you go from June, so July, August, September, October, 4 months production cycle. So that's 3 per year. All right, can I actually get these split into usable, workable naval invasions? I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to research naval invasions with this CRISPR line. Yeah, so right now we have landing craft. This gives you a second plan and more capacity. We'll see. What a wild route. I mean, that doesn't even have the port. That does. We pretty much have to take the port. So. Alright, so that's 6. I don't know how many are actually assigned. It looks like 8 are assigned. And it looks like I was able to do 2 plans. Unfortunately, it's not going to work because I need naval dominance here and here. So this is not going to fly. Alright. Rip my battle plan. Alright. Airborne units. Special Operations Command. Alright, as many airborne units as I can make is what I need. We'll go back and get gene editing again. Unfortunately, that is dead to me. Orbital launch vehicles, 2005. We want to make 100. I don't know if we want to make 100, but I'm making 100, I should say. Spy sets. Another 100 of those. And we're going to roll with that as well. It's like we're going to take some debt for once. And I'm going to go back over $1 trillion for this. What? No, we're going to curtail the activities or try to. Who knows what's going to happen, but we got to try and stop it. All right, we've got some more commanders, it looks like, to choose from. But this guy, he's got a commando, ambusher, he's got all sorts of wildly good things. All infantry with that one. Yeah, let's get this commando one. What are we looking at for airborne training here? Transport helis, we're just short. Think you have a stockpile, then you have unit demands. Yeah, and the Darien Gap, this mountain range right here, absolutely a contentious area for us. We have to get over that, and then the world is open to us at that point. We can border Mexico, we can do all sorts of things. We'll be friends with America so they don't kill us over control of Panama, right? Still the best of friends that you could ever want. Oh god, here we go. Keep up the boom. Spend the money. $7 billion is okay amount of income. I'm actually okay with that, like very much so. Synthetic life finished up. Good early research. 3 years for a 5-year tech. This is going to be much more useful in the long run. We did just get aircraft research done. I'm going to switch over to naval. They did lower costs, so this should be more cost efficient. And it was at the very least, but we still have to get good equipment like engines, nuclear reactors, stuff like that. And we do have a naval research lab already. Yeah, and then I've got to See if I can build anything. Go ahead and throw that up there. Okay. Basically going to keep lowering our political power gain. Let's go ahead. All right, well, that's early. Got it. All right, so our justification's finished. I'm going to go ahead and early deploy all these guys. Yep, that's everyone we're going to get. Let's use... We'll use these airdrop brigades. I don't know where we're going to end up hitting units, but we will. Hopefully these all drop in this order, so that the last thing to land will be on Panama City. I want to take that port. All right, so we're going to drop all of them onto Panama City. Okay, that's the plan. We'll see if the prep works. I don't know. An infantry roll. We'll see what happens. I guess I can't prepare till we declare war. They've improved relations. All right, so prep is going down. We don't have a ton of time for this. We'll see what happens when this finishes up. It looks like we have air superiority, so... Well, not having it on our own land is kind of wild. I guess they don't have any units? Okay, well... Had I known that, I would have done that earlier. That's kind of crazy. All right, we're going to go ahead and puppet everything there except for this, so I can get units on this side of the Darien Gap quickly. So we'll go ahead and submit that. I want this front to launch attacks from. That's why I took that as an annexed territory. Okay. So Costa Rica. They're trading with Brazil, which is my enemy. It's not our business. They have steel, lots of steel. I really need to take Guatemala. That's 30 rubber right there. That would be amazing. All right, we're going to move all these airborne units. We're not even going to use them as paratroopers going forward. I can use them as frontline divisions. Naval bases on both sides of the gap. And I want naval yards on both sides of the canal. And on the far borders of our territory as well. Is much more ideal there. And let's make sure these are maximum in size. What about naval yards? This is where we get into some weird territory. I'm gonna go ahead and bump those down and put office sectors. And then roads. Network infrastructure. Airfields. Radars. Ooh. Fuel storage. Yep. Something like that right now is fine. Yeah, so you can't half-ass things like China and Russia. If you're gonna go to try and take over Panama, you just do it. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole, you gotta be an asshole. Let's see. Bump all this up a little more. We're gonna go ahead and keep spending. One more cycle would give me enough cash for this investment, so I guess I'll just wait for that. Perfect. I am gonna have to have air power to expand out to the west. Let's go ahead and bump this up. And we'll just get ourselves that research facility that we're missing. Wing form engines, there's a couple different things like fuel. The refueling midair would be nice. That goes under Cold War engines. Let's go ahead and do that. We have outdated trains. Move these to the bottom of our production tree. Or queue, sorry. Yeah, so I did things a little bit differently than I planned. Like, geopolitics is about planning ahead and reacting to what your enemies or adversaries are planning to do. I'll give Brazil this. They are maneuvering themselves well. How long is that going to take? That's going to take 9 months. So it's under a year. So that's not the worst. It's still a while, though, before that becomes online. Or gets online. Costa Rica. Okay, so by the time we're at war with Costa Rica. We have a decision that's available. Panama's autonomy. Could combat foreign influence. I don't see that as being necessarily the most beneficial thing right now. Are they going to prove me wrong or right? Are we going to hit this 4 trillion before we hit 50? We'll see. How much? Getting very close. This still has to go to autonomous region, then fully down. There's still a lot of work to be done there. Caribe, yeah, so the mountains of Colombia. If I lower this, what happens? Wages go up immensely, but we get org bonuses, division recovery. I'm gonna have to make that change just so I'm not surprised. Jet turbine engines for ships. Gotta be a huge range bonus. Anyway, let's go ahead and bump our radar gains. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll to the bottom. Olev is still building, but we did finish the satellite, so do need to make note of that because we're gonna bump our research speed immensely. Gonna go up really fast. All right. Interest on debt is almost negligible. All right. Go to Panama. We'll go ahead and lower that. Yeah, so we definitely want to get these pop bonuses going. Population is going to be what stops us from becoming a superpower. Because we're going to just start making tons and tons of factories, offices, once all these military buildings get built. It's just going to be a huge ramp up. Because right now, technically, I could be building 2 civilian industry right now and just absolutely, like, basically doubling our output of factories per year to 6, which would give us a much better foundation. But I still want to kind of cut back on the added territories, so I'm not going to do that. But let's go ahead and do our battle plan for our special operations units. Just a clean run through Costa Rica here. Same thing. Ooh, market access. 100 political power. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it yet. Yet, I say. Nicaragua, though. That is tough, because I do want their steel. Let's see. 500 days. Let's do it. We're going to go ahead and get that war declared. We'll have to do Honduras and Guatemala immediately after that. The rubber is too important. You see how many countries are improving their relations with it. And then that gives me a land border with Mexico. Which is too strong to pass up. Ooh, I got something. Let's go ahead and just start our infantry research. Small arms. We'll do the small arms manufacturer. Naval vessel experimentation, and then we'll do nukes after that. This will allow us to actually build the boats that we want to build. New designs. Advanced AI. Let's keep working on research speed. Modern deep learning. Freed up more population, I imagine. We'll see that come through. Interest on debt is about 400 million. So we can get this up to 8 billion per week. It's about 100 billion a year, right? Or 96 or something like that. Egypt is expanding into Ethiopia. That's weird. How does that work? That's a weird war. Because Ethiopia is landlocked. Oh. Alright, let's check out the war stats here. Just see how these other wars are going across the world. You've got no losses with the Cairo Pact. I don't think I've ever seen the Cairo Pact show up. So this is a new one for me. Even losses somehow. Cairo Pact has double the manpower. This is a Syrian war. Interesting. Burma and Myanmar. It'd be over here. Burma is getting just beat down even though they have more units. It's very confusing. And Iran and Yemen. Iran has taken some hefty losses there, so the Houthi Yemen got completely taken out by regular Yemen. So Western aligned Yemen absolutely crushed their rebels. Which is nice to see for once in the world. Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. Okay. Yeah, so next episode we'll be moving into Costa Rica, making some big gains. Nice. Let's check the books while we're here. As we get some more good news. Colombia is at 3.3 trillion, or passing Poland. Territory-wise, moving up in the world, we're right behind Poland again. Industry-wise, behind Japan, close to Poland, not right behind them. So Poland, you're still kicking our ass. Wrong button. Let's check out our supplies stockpile. We'll be going into some new wars with about 30,000 in spare guns, so not too nervous about that. That's not a bad spot to be. So, cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch everyone on the next episode as we continue our playthrough of Colombia. And yeah, I think we're going to end up... We'll end up in a pretty good spot after we engage Brazil. So, anyway, I'll catch you all on the next one.